I'm Jeannie Jones, and this is the 12 Spot. Today, you'll meet the mastermind and direct creators of the music for the Fox television series, Shots Fired.
Shots Fired on Fox. South, fictional town, North Carolina, racial divide, justice system, scandalous. Kind of reminds me of where we are right now.
America.
Where we've been and where we continue to be, this current administration. How did it affect you to be a part of something so timely and what you brought musically with this content?
It felt like, I just feel like to be able to express ourselves through our art. You know, we all are from different places, you know, across the country. You know, we have relatives that are going through different things and learning to see how they deal with the changes in our country and government. So I think using those tools was very instrumental for us, like personally, like trying to pen the right feelings and vibes, you know, in regards to the song.
When you say that, do you watch the content and then begin to write? What was your process like for the song?
Well, it was different for all of us because they sent us like, you know, little synopsis of the scripts, you know, and it was different for Antonique because she actually is in the show. And so for my take on it, I think some of the footage, we would get little snippets.
Sometimes we would get,
sometimes
we would get a scene.
Yeah.
And sometimes we would just get, we need it to feel like this, or it's a choir, so write something for a choir.
Yeah. I think they had a little bit of a different approach with this show with the writing team. They, Jabari helped assemble a team of writers, all of us together, and we were very involved from day one of the show. Even before they had the scripts finished, we met at their lot. We went into the room. We got to see the outlines of the shows. They really filled us in on the feeling and what they wanted to capture musically from the show from day one. So they really knew what they wanted. You know, Reggie and Gina really did a good job of that. And I feel like I know for all of us, we were all very involved from day one all the way through till the end. And we would get little snippets with, you know, a scene. And I remember there was one scene in particular where they sent us something saying this is going to be, spoiler alert, funeral scene.
Right.
And, but they liked the music that we wrote so much for that scene that they decided to rewrite the scene and then reuse the music and throughout the other episodes.
And they made it longer. Like the scene.
So that's amazing that
inspirational.
What you guys produce can also affect how they reshoot a scene.
Well, when we were in, it was really neat because when we were in Charlotte for one of the scenes in there, I don't remember which episode, maybe the first or the second one, but so many people, remember how many people came up to us, the actors and actresses, and they were like, this set the mood for the whole show.
Oh yeah, it was after one, so it was two, because that was the other dope thing. Like we got to go down to the set and really watch the actors,
and sweat.
You know,
It was pretty hot down there.
It was crazy.
And so for us being on the writer's side like that, I thought it was nice because we were there, you know, and all of that like simultaneously was happening. Like we have to write, just like the writers of the show was writing. It was like back-to-back schedules, so they were moving like a machine.
Yeah.
And then Antonique, you like triple threat on set.
Yes.
Acting, singing, and writing. How much of your past experience got you prepared for this?
Well, I'm an activist, actually, so this was right up my alley. When Reggie and Gina, they're friends of mine, when they wrote the role for me, and told me that they were doing this, I was going crazy. Actually, we talked about it. We were actually meeting Mike Brown's father. It was the 1 year anniversary of his death, and we were at someplace in Hollywood, and it was kind of like just a get together to remember what happened and talk further. And so like a bunch of Hollywood people came out, and Reggie and Gina invited me. And so we were just talking. She was like, girl, I'm working on a show. And when she started telling me what it was about, I was just like, oh my God, amazing. And at that point, she had said that she had a role for me in mind, but that was still early. It wasn't until the end of that year that they called and was like, all right, you know, it's time. So, right up my alley.
I still haven't seen your character.
So
Kiana. I'm blonde.
Wow.
Right.
I'm ghetto fabulous.
On the
That's what I
block.
want to see.
Yeah, Kiana don't play. She's from the hood.
Look, pow.
Yes. But yeah, it was really, it spoke to me because I mean, this is what I want my own art to speak to. My album's called Love Is Everything, and I feel like that's the cure-all for every crazy thing we're seeing all over this world. If there was more love, that just wouldn't be possible. We have a love deficit going on.
And then tell me about your process of writing and executing Losing Control.
Trying to figure out what losing control was gonna feel like, and I heard Brian in the corner. He said, "Ooh," and I was like, "Ooh, losing feels like losing control." I was like, "That's the chorus," and everybody was like, "Yes!"
Wow.
And then we started writing the verses, and Sheree jumped in the booth and started doing verse melodies, and then we wrote the lyrics. And
Wow. Because when I heard that song, I just felt like I was going back and taking all of the weight. It was so simple, but yet one of those times when less is more.
right, it's simple.
That was it.
It's simple.
That was it, but
Thank you.
very emotional.
Yeah.
We are discussing just how impactful this content is with the temperament of our country right now. So what was your process like in assembling your team?
You know, I think the process was really a perfect storm. You know, everyone on the team is somebody who has been very dear and special to me in some way, shape, or form throughout my music supervision career. The most important thing for me was to not only identify folk who had the talent level to be able to do it, but people who had some type of social activism about them. And also from all walks of life, because this show has so many layers, and to have the music represent, you know, the different layers of the storytelling, the different layers of the social climate in this country, you know, and then like, you know, Sheree, you know, and just saying, you know, and it was a process. It was a process where I put a board together of about 50 to 60 like writers and producers, and you know, and these were the chosen standout. Of course, they had to accept, you know what I mean. But these were the chosen, you know, 7, you know, and.
Man, I mean, it's just, did this happen after you looked at the content and then you put your team together?
Absolutely. So I get a call from the executive producers, Reggie and Gina, and you know, we just kind of had this like kind of overview, you know, conversation over the phone, and then, you know, Reggie, who I've worked with on several different films before that I music supervised, he said, "Look, you know, Jabari, I just kind of want to hit you up. I want to have some real conversation with you. And then I want to send you something. I don't want you to read it over your laptop like you do. I want you to print the pages out and read them." And as soon as I did that, I called him back immediately. You know, it took me about an hour to just kind of go through the reading. I mean, I was absolutely amazed. You know, growing up in Los Angeles and knowing what the LAPD and the Blue, you know, meant to the community and the relationships and things like that. You know, having a good friend of mine's son actually being murdered by the LAPD, shot in the back twice, and, you know, which made national news, and that's why, you know, when I got the script, and I usually put all my scripts in the binder, and so after I took the read, I just started kind of like putting together a collage of just like impactful photos of like things that have transpired, you know, in the country, you know, different shootings and killings of young black unarmed teens and men, and it was just you know, it just kind of, it was overtaking when, you know, when you're actually, you know, giving a responsibility to provide music that will provoke change. You know, Sheree, who's, you know, just an incredible vocalist, singer, songwriter. You know, I've, you know, had the opportunity to work with them on shows before, on projects before. You know, her hometown where she grew up in Baltimore, you know, just was lit up with an uprising and, you know, and just all these things that are going on. And I'm going, you know, she has something to say. And this can be a platform for her to be able to say it. For the world to be able to, you know, hear her pen and hear her voice, you know.
Did you work with any writers or producers that you hadn't worked with before this time?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Actually, Chris and Jeff, you know.
How did you guys connect?
We connected through a mutual friend of mine from New York, who introduced me to their company, Musicians Ego, and they had an artist that they were working on that I'm a fan of. And, you know, he's really, really dope, and I tried hard to actually get his music in the show. And I mean, this young artist is amazing. And you know, they came over. We did this like unplugged kind of like meeting, and not really a meeting, but just an unplugged, just a social, you know, get together. It was just like live, and you know, we had all these musicians, and Tanique came through, and she blessed the mic.
Y'all had a jam session.
That was it. That's what it was.
It was
It was a real
amazing.
jam session, just a meeting of the minds, but musical. You know, and that's what I want to call it. It was really dope, and I knew that I could bank on many of their attributes and talents. You know, filmmakers, you know, and executive producers, Reggie and Gina, who stylize their filmmaking, you know, through music. You know, I mean, they tell their stories using music as a very, you know, featured, you know, substance.
Yeah, their soundtracks have been amazing.
Absolutely.
They
It's
stand
like
on
music
their
is
own.
another character.
Music is another
Absolutely,
character.
absolutely.
So, in saying that, you know, shout out to Dion Ferris, who, you know, I licensed one of her songs, and you know, she just performed at I think the
ABFF. Yes.
and killed it. You know, I talked to her this morning, and just, you know, and just thank you to artists like that who actually have been like, you know, not just you know, licensed music that has been so incredible for the show as well. You know what I mean? So, you know, and I thank artists like that, you know, who really, you know, want to use their music as a vehicle of change.
And that's what you guys have done. Chris, Jeff, we've been together overnight and at a breakfast table. We won't get into those details about when that was or why. Okay. But how important was it for you and your experience and what you brought to the soundtrack?
You want to go? Yeah, I mean, it was, I've said it pretty much every time that we've had anything like this. It was incredible to work on something that we believe in. I mean, socially, you know, because so many times we do projects that are just like paychecks, and then this is something that you actually feel like you can make a difference, and it's very rare, to feel like that and to be proud of something at the end of the day. Be like, yeah, I hope this helps people. I hope this opens some eyes, and I hope it changes people's opinions on what's going on. And it's difficult to do that. It's great when it's two pictures, because that's kind of the perfect coupling of things. And I mean, it was a great experience. It's crazy hours.
Yeah.
Well, hey, greatness takes
Talk about that
time.
a little more. See my shirt?
Loving the hashtag.
Hashtag music provokes change.
Yes.
And you know, to me, that was the main focus of this show with the writing of the music. I don't know, what does that really mean to a lot of people? Well, for me, it means, if you remember, when you go to work out, what do? You pop in a song and you get this emotional response from something uplifting when you're going to work out. When you're, you know, sad or something, you put a song in. So music evokes emotion in humans. And if you write the perfect storm of lyrics and melody and chords and put it all together, you can evoke change in somebody. and it might open their eyes, as Chris said, to a new idea or what's going on subconsciously, maybe without even really thinking about it. And that was kind of the main focus, to make sure we all capture music that really will push the boundaries.
And another song that really moved me in a soundtrack was your work with Rough Ends.
Thank you.
How did you connect with them? I mean, people doing radio all my life, they were just part of R&B that weren't supposed to disappear.
Right.
And I hear these beautiful voices. I looked at credits, I'm like, Rough Ends? What?
Rough Ends.
How did you pull them out and create the magic that you brought to the show?
Well, on Gun Hill, which is another film that Gina and Reggie did. Well, Reggie, we're both same, we're both together. But anyway, but on that film, he actually produced and co-wrote the song called Cold World. That was like the montage for the beginning of the film. And for this project, we needed a male vocal because I had referenced it and wrote this song, and I was like, I think this would be dope, you know, it's called Speak to My Heart, you know, and Jabari heard it, and he was just like, you know, if we can get a male vocal on it, it'll really like cut it through, like, and send that message. And then it was, I think we were writing to scene too. I think the particular scene required like this male perception of like what was being told in it. So I called them, they sent that thing back over and just killed the
almost like overnight.
Overnight,
And that's what it takes. They were ready.
They were ready.
And I love, the song would be another tearjerker.
I think it's an hour 7 of
Hour 7 it's the only song in 7.
Incredible.
I don't want to forget Marcus Clay because he's in the show as well, and he's on that song as well and Speaks to My Heart with Reference.
He just signed with No Limit Records.
Oh wow.
Master P has been taking him all over New York. This kid is Kendrick Lamar meets Nas.
Wow.
With the work ethic of Tupac. Ooh. You know, and I've had the pleasure to really just kind of know him since he was, 12 and 13 years old, and just kind of seeing his career just kind of blossom. And I mean, he's phenomenal, and he's another person to really be on the lookout for as far as his acting, his songwriting ability, and just his artistry.
This is to continue greatness. Shots fired on Fox. Music provokes change.
Yes.
Yes.
Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers. Woo. Yes.